What if I told you that the difference between success and failure isn't talent, luck, or connections, but something far simpler? Something that's been hiding in plain sight your entire life? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why you've been approaching productivity all wrong, and more importantly, how to fix it starting today. Picture this scenario. You have a big project due. The deadline is approaching fast. But instead of diving in yourself, you find yourself waiting. Waiting for your teammate to send their part, waiting for your boss to give clearer instructions, waiting for the perfect moment when everything aligns. Sound familiar? You're not alone. And there's an ancient story that reveals exactly why this approach is sabotaging your success. Long ago, in a peaceful countryside, a hardworking farmer planted his crops with great care. The fields stretched endlessly under the warm sun, promising a bountiful harvest. But something unexpected happened. A small sparrow discovered this perfect spot and decided to build her home right there among the growing plants. She carefully constructed her nest, and soon after, tiny eggs appeared. Before long, 3 beautiful baby sparrows hatched, chirping happily under their mother's protective wing. Every morning, the mother sparrow would venture into the nearby forest, searching for food to bring back to her hungry children. Life was peaceful and predictable. The little ones grew stronger each day, though they weren't yet ready to spread their wings and fly. They depended entirely on their mother's daily journeys for survival. One afternoon, the mother sparrow returned from her usual food-gathering trip to find her children in a state of panic. Their tiny hearts were racing, and fear filled their bright eyes. She immediately sensed something was terribly wrong. "What's the matter, my little ones?" she asked with concern. "Why do you look so frightened?" The baby birds could barely contain their anxiety as they explained what had happened. "Mother, the farmer came to the fields today. He stood right here looking at his crops. We heard him talking about harvest time. He said tomorrow he's going to send his sons to cut down everything. What will happen to us? We can't even fly yet. Where will we go?" The mother sparrow listened carefully to their concerns. Then, with the wisdom that comes from experience, she gently reassured them. "Don't worry, my dear children. I can tell you with certainty that no one will come tomorrow to harvest these crops. Rest peacefully tonight." Her confidence seemed strange to the young birds, but they trusted their mother completely. The next day arrived, and just as she had predicted, no one appeared in the fields. The crops remained untouched, swaying gently in the breeze. Days turned into weeks, and still no harvest took place. The baby sparrows began to relax, thinking perhaps their mother possessed some magical ability to predict the future. But then it happened again. The mother sparrow returned from another food-gathering expedition to discover her children once more consumed with worry. Their small bodies trembled with the same fear as before. "What's wrong now?" she asked, though she suspected she already knew the answer. "Mother, the farmer returned today." This time, he seemed more determined. He was talking about the harvest again, but now he mentioned sending workers from town to handle the job. He said they would definitely come tomorrow to cut everything down. The wise mother sparrow remained calm and offered the same reassurance as before. "My precious ones, I promise you that tomorrow will pass without any harvest taking place. Trust me on this." Once again, her prediction proved accurate. The following day came and went without a single worker appearing in the fields. The crops continued to grow taller and more golden, but they remained standing. The pattern repeated itself for many more days, and the baby sparrows started to believe their nest would remain safe indefinitely. However, everything changed during one particular afternoon visit from the farmer. When the mother sparrow returned from the forest this time, she noticed her children appeared worried, but not with the same intense panic as before. They had grown somewhat accustomed to these false alarms. "Let me guess," she said with a slight smile. The farmer came again with more harvest talk. "Yes, mother, but we're not as scared this time. We figure it's just like all the other times when nothing happened. But we thought we should still tell you what he said." The mother sparrow encouraged them to share the details anyway, sensing this might be different somehow. Well, the farmer did seem frustrated today. He was talking to himself about how much time he has wasted. He kept saying he's tired of depending on other people who never follow through. But then he said something new. He declared that tomorrow he will come personally to harvest the crops. Himself. The moment those words left her children's beaks, the mother sparrow's entire demeanor changed. Her relaxed confidence vanished, replaced by urgent alertness. She immediately began fluttering around their nest with purpose. "Children, we must leave this place right now. We need to find a new location for our home immediately. Tomorrow, the farmer will absolutely come to harvest his crops. And we cannot be here when that happens." The young birds stared at their mother in confusion. "But mother, you've been so certain all the other times that nothing would happen. The farmer has made these promises before. Why are you suddenly so worried now?" The wise sparrow paused in her preparations to share a profound lesson with her children. Listen carefully, because this understanding will serve you well throughout your lives. The first time the farmer planned to harvest, he intended to rely on his sons to do the work. The second time, he planned to depend on hired workers from town. In both cases, he was placing the responsibility for his important task in someone else's hands. She continued with growing intensity. When you depend on others to accomplish your critical goals, those goals rarely get achieved. People have their own priorities, their own schedules, their own problems to solve. What matters urgently to you might not matter at all to them. But this time is completely different. This time, the farmer has decided to take personal responsibility. He will do the work himself, which means it will definitely happen by now. The baby sparrows had grown strong enough to fly short distances. Following their mother's urgent guidance, they quickly gathered their few possessions and took flight to find safety in a distant part of the forest. They constructed a new nest just in time. The very next morning, as the sun rose over the golden fields, the farmer appeared carrying his harvesting tools. He worked steadily throughout the day, cutting down every single crop with his own hands. The task that had been delayed for weeks through dependence on others was completed in one day through personal action. By evening, the entire field was cleared. But the sparrow family was safe and sound in their new home far away. This ancient tale reveals a truth most people never recognize about their own behavior. We often mistake delegation for laziness, but real laziness isn't about being physically inactive. It's about being mentally passive. It's about surrendering control of your important outcomes to forces beyond your influence. Think about your own life right now. How many projects are you waiting for others to complete? How many goals are stalled because you're depending on someone else's schedule, someone else's motivation, someone else's priorities? This isn't strategic delegation, which involves clear accountability and follow-through systems. This is passive dependence, which is actually a sophisticated form of procrastination disguised as collaboration. The farmer's story illustrates three distinct levels of personal responsibility. First, there's delegation with hope, where you assign tasks but maintain no real accountability systems. Second, there's delegation with expectations, where you assume others share your urgency and commitment levels. Third, there's personal ownership, where you take direct control of critical outcomes while strategically leveraging help for appropriate tasks. Most people get stuck in the first two levels, wondering why their important projects never seem to gain momentum. They're waiting for their business partner to finalize the marketing plan. They're waiting for their team member to complete the research. They're waiting for their family member to provide emotional support. Meanwhile, their dreams remain dreams, their goals remain wishes, and their potential remains untapped. But here's what successful people understand that others miss. Self-reliance doesn't mean refusing all help or support. It means taking ownership of outcomes while strategically utilizing resources. It means having backup plans when others don't deliver. It means maintaining momentum regardless of external factors. When you truly embrace personal responsibility, something remarkable happens. People actually become more willing to help you because they see you're serious about achieving your goals. They witness your commitment through your actions, not just your words. They want to contribute to someone who's already moving forward rather than someone who's waiting for permission to start. The mother sparrow possessed this wisdom through experience. She understood that empty promises from unreliable sources are worthless. But personal commitment from someone with skin in the game is everything. She could predict human behavior because she recognized the difference between wishful thinking and determined action. Starting today, examine every area of your life where you're waiting for someone else to make your success possible. Identify which outcomes truly matter to you, then ask yourself one crucial question. What would I do if I knew for certain that no one else was coming to help? Your answer to that question is your path forward. Take that path and you'll discover that laziness isn't about lacking energy or motivation. Laziness is about lacking ownership. Once you claim full ownership of your most important outcomes, you'll never be lazy again because you'll finally understand that your success depends entirely on you